おい、なんだありゃ。
おそらくだが、あの島は巨人族の総本山、エルバフだ。
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another game of good old Captain Kid. This time we're going to be playing against the mirror match. Now, you sit across from an identical deck of yours, a deck that's typically a pretty heavy control deck, and you sigh, you let out a big sigh, because this is going to be a bit of a grinder here. We're going to see if we can become the aggro deck, because I play Captain Kid just a bit different than probably most players do. I am a pretty darn aggressive. I guess I'm like an aggro player at heart, but I love to play control. So I'm going to be doing my darndest to trash as much life from my opponent as possible. And I'm sure my opponent will be doing the same to me. So we're going to just have a nice little back and forth here. I did end up losing the die roll, which is a bit of a bummer. Kid typically likes to go second. We just have a much better curve going second. Going first is a little awkward. About the best thing you can see going first is a Nami or a Gadatsu on 5. But other than that, we are unfortunately just going to be a little bit of the aggressor here. We're going to start with an 8k swing at lead here. Big old swing. Could get 2 2ks in a hand. Instead, just going to take a life. And that's the first life of many going to be shed this game, whether it's going to be through damage or trashing conditions. But with the other Kid deck being on the even curve here, we're likely to see a Basil Hawkins into a Kid activation. So trying to shave that first life off of the Kid was pretty important to me, just because I know I'm gonna likely lose that life back here. And I'm gonna be playing pretty defensively with swings to my leader here. Got a bit of 2Ks in hand, got some 1Ks. I was thinking about using that Gadatsu, but instead just going to use a 2K here. I know that my life is going to get trashed anyways, so to try to prevent my opponent from taking as much life as possible outside of trashing is what I'm going to try to aim to do for this game here. And so going back to my turn here, I do have the opportunity to just get Datsu this Basil Hawkins. I know that top life that I protected last turn is just going to go away anyways, whether I swing or not. But I could just pressure my opponent's hand here by playing the Gadatsu down, just forcing like 1k or potentially even a 2k if their hand is not very good here. If not, I could also just get that Hawkins life and already set the other player down to 3 life. So that would be pretty nice as well. Just going to try to stay on the aggression here. And so we're just going to say screw it. Who cares about the top card of our life? Because we know what we got into when we played this mirror match. We end up milling a Shirahoshi. Not a big deal. Not particularly a card we want to see more than one of in this specific time. Just because I probably not going to have a good amount of a curve to play it. I could play it next turn. Actually, well, yes, because I'll be on the 7 Dawn turn. So I could play that and play like Hawkins and swing 6k. But once we get up later in the game here, a lot of my Dawn is going to be spent on some big drops like that A-drop Kid in hand. But opponent takes that one, takes the 5k, and down to 3 life already. I'm down to 4. We'll see here what my opponent ends up doing on their 6 Dawn turn. Could play down maybe another Hawkins, give it blocker, which would be a little annoying, but it is what it is. You can tell I'm also on the Hawkins game plan, but again, I'm trying to be the more aggressor in this matchup. So yes, I could have just played my Hawkins last turn, attached 1 to lead, swung 6k, but that would have just eaten the Hawkins blocker on their side. So I'm trying to be a little more proficient, a little more aggressive. So we're going to see what the opponent decides to do on this turn here. And I could potentially be reactive, though most of my hand at this point is pretty defensive. We're going to see another Hawkins come down and likely an activation of leader effect at some point, but going to play something else out here. 2 Dawn for a... That's not a Shirahoshi. That is a Hiyori. Hiyori, interesting card. Now, funny enough, I correct my opponent there. He does not have to. You do not have to reveal your Hiyori effect to your opponent, which is funny. But he's going to be activating leader at the end of the ability, at the end of the turn, anyways, revealing that top life. But I was like, hey, Hiyori's a secret effect. You don't have to show me. But we're going to see the Hiyori, the Nami come up, anyways, because of leader effect. We're gonna go back to my turn here. So Nami being a potential candidate to clear off my Gadatsu. So if I'm going to make some swings here, it's going to be with Gadatsu first before anything else. And we're likely gonna just play out. We could just, I think we're just gonna do some kind of like Shirahoshi Basil Hawkins play, but I want to make sure Basil Hawkins comes down after my opponent takes it here. So we're gonna go ahead and swing 6k here. Opponent's just gonna, I think, just immediately block it here. Definitely thinking about doing it. Could also just take the hit and Nami effect. I know that's a pretty juicy play here, and yeah, they're gonna do that. They're gonna take the Nami trigger and discard a good old Gang Beige to take out my Ganatsu. Now I don't know. I'm watching this from like a video editor. I don't know if it's stuttering or not for everybody else, but hopefully not. My camera's been having some issues, especially on this specific day. So hopefully everything looks good for everybody. I try to keep a good frame rate, but phone's been acting up. So we're gonna play out exactly. We're gonna do exactly what we thought we were gonna do. We're swing a 6K, and then we're going to do the kid effect on the big old Hawkins. So now we got double blocker. We also have a Nami trigger on top. So nice little play here. If my opponent has a board, but my opponent right now is sitting with a bit of a smaller board than I am. He's at 2 life. I'm at 3 life. Again, kind of disincentivizes my opponent to play something like a 5-drop here, because I will just use the Nami effect to pop it potentially. One of the things with Kid is once your life is revealed, can't really put it back down. It looks like the other Kid that kind of has a little bit of a plan around that. It's Hiyori's a nice little plan to take the top card of your life and switch it out with something face down, so you can you don't have to take a hit, right, to refresh your life. But my deck's not set up that way, so likely we'll try to take this life here, potentially, depending on what my opponent decides to do here. On their 8-Dawn turn, this could be a turn that 8-drop Kid comes down, but instead, no 8-drop Kid, and we get an X-Drake. So X-Drake effects here, gonna rest my Hawkins. I'm gonna give it a read there. So if you have less life than your opponent, less or equal, you can activate X-Drake's effect and rest a 4-drop or less. So my Hawkins blocker that I set up last turn, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of blocking here. And we'll see what my opponent decides to do here with the rest of the Dawn. 2 more Dawn. Going to see another Hiyori come down. Hiyori's going to take top card. Going to put another card. I remind my opponent, hey, you don't have to show me. It is a secret effect. Don't have to show me here. Though I will likely get shown at the end of the turn here. We're going to see another Dawn come down. And it's going to be another Searcher Luffy. So just all of the low drops on my opponent's side. And we know it's in my hand. We know a Captain Kid's going to be coming down on this next turn, going to be setting my opponent down to 1, which is going to be pretty great for me. We do see a Law come off the top of my opponent's deck here. Could be a nice little play for next turn, but they might be pretty low on life. It might be setting them back to 1 potentially on the next turn, depending on how aggressive I get into this deck here. And so 2 more Dawn left. Could just go ahead and swing a 7K. I think they decide if they're deciding to potentially swing, and I think they decide not to swing. And here's why. Right, I'm just gonna pop. I'm gonna pop the X-Drake, right? Because the X-Drake is the only candidate that can get blocker off Kid's effect on this side of the board. So if he swings it at me, I'm just gonna pop the X-Drake and move on with my life, so he doesn't have a blocker, and then I can just kind of push a lot of damage into my opponent here. Satori life off the top means off the reveal means this Kid is gonna be able to easily clean that up here. Notably, I didn't grab my Dawn. I'll grab it in a second. There we go. Up to 9 Dawn. This is a pretty straightforward like 5K, 6K swing with lead. 5K swing with Hawkins, 6K swing with lead, as well as a trash of life. I'm just trying to decide, is the Satori worth giving to my opponent, or can we instead trash that? Which, you know, maximum information, we know the card we're trashing, so we're pretty happy to see that gone. It's a potential 2K in hand, if not a card on the board that we may have to contest with. Though that Nami trigger still sitting on the top of my life is pretty nice for me here. But we're going to play out the Captain Kid. We're going to activate it. We're going to trash the top card of his life. Because my opponent decided not to swing at me, I cannot use leader ability this turn, which is pretty unfortunate for me. But we're going to go swing a 5K here at the opponent here. That X-Drake's a 4K blocker, so not going to be doing a whole lot of blocking unless it's dying here. Get a 1K out of hand out of my opponent. We're going to swing 6K here, and he just decides to take it. Looks like it might be, nope, no trigger off that, and we're going to pass back to my opponent. No opportunity to use the old blocker token this turn. So I definitely understand like the Hiyori tech, but yeah, I don't know what we might be talking about something here. But yeah, we're just going to pass the turn back to the opponent. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'm just counting up some things here. I don't know. I'm doing mental gymnastics, whatever. Up to 3. It got three 2K counters in hand, so feeling pretty safe at 3 life, 3 2K counters. We know, based on what my opponent did last turn, that we could see a lull this turn, but instead 10 Dawn get tapped, which means an Ace is down. Ace is going to come down, going to go ahead and give us a life, or give them a life, and then now Ace is live to swing. That is a 10K rusher here, but notably I've got a 2K counter in hand. So if my opponent decides to swing at my Kid, I have 2 options: either use that blocker or 2k counter out of it, and they end up using the X-Drake very smartly, very wise, to rest my Shirahoshi blocker, trying to give them a better a way into swinging with the ace here into my kid. But I think they're just really thinking right now, I've only got 3 cards in hand, what are the likelihood that I have a 2k? I show him I got 2 already in the yard. One came off life, one went countered out of hand. So on his side, you know, I could have no 2Ks, could have all the 2Ks, right? But I think this deck runs 12 2Ks, and little does he know I have all 3 2Ks in my hand. So we're gonna be protecting this kid for days. We're gonna just immediately give him a 2K counter out of that. I think he was deciding whether he wanted to send it at face or instead try to take out the kid here. Definitely if it went to face, I would have let that go. But now we got a 5K swing. I think this 5K swing is going into the Shirahoshi. I will not be countering out of that one. I'll just let it go. So X-Drake proving to be pretty useful in this specific matchup, especially when you're on the back foot, just being able to rest blockers here. I think that's like a Datu that just got flipped up in life off leader ability, and we've got a good old X-Drake as a blocker this turn. If we rip a removal spell, we're going to be in a good place, and we do end up pulling the Damned Punk off the top. Damned Punk, a nice little 2 of in the deck. KO is a 5 or less. Also lets me rearrange life, so it does let me like activate like Kid's ability and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and immediately tap out for it, because why not? We're gonna clear the X-Drake, try to go for lethal here. Knowing what's in my opponent's life, there's only a 1k, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move this to the top, slap my camera, and then take out the X-Drake. Kerpow, take it out here. And we've got 6 more down to work with. 2 2Ks in hand, not gonna worry about those here. And we could just do a few big swings. We could go like a 7k little poke with Basil Hawkins here, just to see what my opponent's doing. My opponent's been willfully taking life this entire game, so likely means he doesn't have a whole lot in hand here. And I think we're just gonna go for 9k, little safe swings here instead of going all in. And we immediately take it here. Only 2k counter in hand, a whole lot of bricks, a whole lot of lulls. And we're able to clean this up, being the more aggressive kid deck at this point. We end up looking at life, Nami, Lol, and then a Frankie that would be coming into play here. So pretty solid for us, able to take it down. And yeah, here's the deck list. Might change the deck list, but this is what we're running for now. But anyways, if you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, everybody.